Welcome back, everyone. Happy Thursday. Everyone, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Don't say anything, Cloud. All you've been doing is apologizing. It's getting rather annoying. I never was in Soldier. I made up the stories about what happened to me 5 years ago about being in Soldier. Made up is a strong word. More like forced to remember. I left my village looking for glory, but never made it into Soldier. I was so ashamed of being so weak that I heard this story from my friend Zach. And I created an illusion of myself made up of what I'd seen in my life. Oh, okay. And I continued to play the charade as if it were true. Illusion, huh? Pretty damn strong for an illusion, I'd say. I'm physically built like someone in Soldier. Hojo's plan to clone Sephiroth wasn't that difficult. It was just the same procedure they used when creating members of Soldier. You see, someone in Soldier isn't simply exposed to Mako energy. Their bodies are actually injected with Genova cells. Oh, lovely! For better or worse, only the strong can enter Soldier. It has nothing to do with the Genova reunion. But weak people like me, we get lost in the whole thing. The combination of Genova cells, Sephiroth's strong will, and my own weakness are what created me. Everyone knew that I'm Cloud. The master of my own illusionary world. But I can't remain trapped in an illusion anymore. I'm going to live my life without pretending. You're sure messed up, Cloud. Yeah, I think he's gonna get made fun of for a while. That means there ain't no difference from before. By the way, Cloud, what are you gonna do now? Don't tell me you're going to leave the ship. I'm the reason why Meteor is falling towards us. That's why I have to do everything in my power to fight this thing. Well, that's good. Then you're gonna keep fighting to save the planet? It's like you always told me, Barrett. Oh, you mean that? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. What? I don't understand. There ain't no getting off of this train we're on. And I love that everybody says it differently. Welcome back. Happy Thursday, everybody. So now the truth has been revealed about Cloud. It's not that he was lying, it's that some things may have been manipulated in his life to seem a little bit more heroic than they were. Because part of it is, yes, he never made Soldier. Oh, Cloud! Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about this guy. You basically bring him to tears. Oh, here we go. Cloud, I was moved deeply by your story. I'm a really weak person, and so I could really understand how you feel, Cloud. No one knows when fighting will begin, but let's get ready. Good on you, man. Good on you. So yeah, part of it is like, yes, Cloud lied. But also it is that through other details we're going to learn later, there was also a little bit of manipulation involved there too, especially with the Genova cells. Listen, Cloud, we're right in the middle of a mission for the Huge Materia, right? Yes. I know this is kind of out of the blue, but there's an underwater reactor at Junon. As far as I can see, that's the only one left. That's that. Let's go. All right, so we also have our new goal. Now that we have Cloud back in the party, and we've assessed what's true, kind of, and what kind of isn't true, We know that there's some manipulation of facts, but we also know that Cloud knows the truth. Now it's time for us to go and get the final piece of Huge Materia. But before we do that, you actually do want to stop by the now destroyed Medial, because you will actually be able to get upgraded weapons, upgraded armor, and a new piece of materia. So we're actually going to take that on. But I don't know, like, we can kind of assess things. Cloud never made it into Soldier. He was just a regular Shinra flunky, for lack of a better term. Then he met a friend of his named Zach, who told him outlandish stories. And he, as we already saw, he was on a mission with Zach, so he saw the events that Zach saw, and, you know, just kind of also made things up to make himself look better. Now, normally, a lot of people kind of don't like that plot element. It's as the Nostalgia Critic and a few others have pointed out, it's a story element called The Liar Revealed. And in this case, it actually kind of makes sense considering the other element in the room. Genova Cells. Genova Cells also manipulated Cloud and made him physically built like a member of Soldier. And as we've kind of seen throughout all of these cutscenes, messed him up pretty bad too. So you have to consider that also. So now we have both of those factors, although, like I said, once we get into the third disc, you actually can get access to whole new cutscenes that kind of open that up a little bit more and explain a little bit more of the history of Cloud and Zack. Now, currently, we're just looking at the wreckage of Medial and the live stream basically coming up, but our next mission is going to be taking us to the third and final Mako reactor in Junon Harbor. So we're going to be taking that on after we get all of our necessary items and all that. I've already kind of taken care of the weapons and the armor, but I did want to at least get the materia on camera, and I'm flubbing it up so hard right now because I keep on thinking that it's down here. It's actually up a hill that I keep on passing. So hopefully at some point I will actually learn that this is what I need to be doing. Oh, check with the doggy. Check with the dog. The dog survived at least. And there you go. So you cross this, and you come up here. Oh, and listen to that. Welcome. The day's finally come. Do we have items and weapons? Well, I should say so, and here's a bargain. So show me your weapons, show me your materia. Now, as you can see, you get different materia from them, but these aren't the ones that I'm looking for. In fact, the one I want is on the Chocobo right here. So you just go up to the Chocobo. Oh, jeez. Show me your items. I don't care. Let me out of here. There we go. Okay, so, who's this? Hey, why are you being so friendly? I don't know. Why is she? Oh, so this is it. You like some Olin greens, don't you? Give it some Olin greens. Well, I guess it won't hurt. You're sure to eat up. Chocobo devoured the greens. Oh, you're pretty cute. I'm gonna tickle you a bit. Oh, don't do that. Cloud, that's not a good idea. I think it's behind the ear. Yeah. And with that, you get a piece of materia from it, which is the contain materia. Roughly, like, all of the stone making, like, turning people to stone, freezing them, things like that, that's all in the contain materia, including one of the most awesome spells in all Final Fantasy games, Flare. You can get Flare this way. Flare is not so great the way that I remember. Actually, you can get an enemy skill that's better than that called Shadow Flare, and it does a lot better to my knowledge. So that being said, now that we've gotten Medial out of the way, the other thing too we have to handle is we are still doing some side questing on the side, obviously, to try and get the Golden Chocobo. Now, off camera, I've actually been doing a lot of Chocobo racing so that I can raise my my Chocobos to give me the kind of the highest yield of the result I want. And thankfully, you guys can see it, so I actually have my blue and my green Chocobo. So we're just going to go ahead and first of all, feed. This is actually a trick that I learned with the PlayStation 3 version, or the port of this game, is if you use a little bit of a green, just to kind of, even though it doesn't do any improvement, you fed it, that's positive. Then you can go ahead and mate them, and you get a higher yield, even better. So we're going to go ahead and mate our blue and our green, which is Loco, who's our female, and we also have Poco, who's our male. So go ahead and mate them. People might be wondering where all of my other chocobos are. I just decided to release the bunch of them unless they're rare. So that's why my stable's not so full anymore. But it's for good reason. Like, you do eventually need that stable space for the later stuff. And here we are. We have the black chocobo. So we got a new chocobo, and it is a male. So now we have to keep that in mind for later. And I actually just decided to keep the name. Choco seemed kind of appropriate. So this is the black chocobo, which is a mixture of the green and blue. So it's a mountain and river chocobo. It can go over mountains, it can go into shallower water, and that's it. Now, all we have to do is get the wonderful chocobo, which is like the highest rating a chocobo can get. And then we mate the wonderful chocobo with our new edition choco, and then we can get the golden chocobo, which allows us access to really, really rare and awesome materia. Well, awesome in some cases, but mostly awesome. So that's going to be really awesome too, or that's going to be great too. Now it's time for us to head out to the Junon Reactor. So people might remember the last part that we did where we were collecting the Fort Condor materia, and then we started up the events with Cloud. So we have 2 pieces of Huge Materia, which you can technically fail and not get. And then you could also fail and not get this one either. But yes, we are going to be getting some Huge Materia in the Junon underwater reactor. And you can go back up to the Junon area. All you have to do is just pay this guy 10 gil. Not that bad. You're just bribing the guard, and he will let you go back up to the upper portions of Junon, which is actually really handy starting in Disc 2 because you can actually get a really cool spot to level in this area too. And I'll even show you when we actually get past that. But once again, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I know this is coming up late, or at least a little bit late. I had a bit of an accident earlier this week where I hurt my back, and it actually became very difficult to record or even sit down and play a game. So I had to go and let my back recover. And for those who were sending well wishes, thank you. It was more of an accident on my part. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest about that. You know, Cloud's being honest, so I'll go ahead and be honest too. It was more of an accident on my part, and thankfully the lesson's been learned, and now we can kind of move on from it. And then one other thing, while we're making our way to the underwater reactor, I want to point out is I keep on pointing out, like, this is where in the past episodes. Oh, and this is another event we need to take on. There's something missing from this picture. See if you can find it. I may be mistaken, but doesn't it feel like we're missing something? So, for those who couldn't figure it out, there used to be a giant cannon here. Remember, it killed Weapon. It's not here anymore. Where did it go? That's something to consider. To answer the Cloud question, one of the reasons that I love that particular piece of development for Cloud is because he actually feels more like a redeemed character after this, aside from just being the badass soldier. All right, let's see how hard you trained. Yes, we are going to have to go through some Shinra soldiers. Charge! Not these guys, though. Don't worry about it. Hey, that's the underwater reactor. Come back here. Come back here. So I do like the honesty that came from that whole moment, being able to see that Cloud was there, but he just doesn't remember it quite the right way. And also his honesty towards Tifa. I really do appreciate that, considering I love Tifa. How about whoever stays alive gets to take her out? All right, you're on. What if both of us... Whoa, don't even talk about that. What's really sad about this is that Tifa already has a girlfriend, so he can't take the girl out. So he can't participate in this bet. That's really sad. But it's good to have Cloud back in the party. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that I like it. Now, why do I... To put it in comparison, I've always said that I don't like Cloud and Advent Children or a lot of the Cloud that most people like, which is the emo badass. I don't like that, especially considering that Advent Children took away the awesome character development from the whole Mediel situation and made it act as if it had never happened. Back to work, back to work. So that's roughly it. Like, I don't like Advent Children, at least Cloud and Advent Children, because it almost looks like all of the character development he had later on in Final Fantasy VII didn't exist. He was still a walking pile of emo, and that was what you could get out of it. And that's not the Cloud I like. I like the later Cloud that's realized his mistakes, has realized his lies, and from here on in wants to be honest about it, especially considering, yes, he is partially responsible for the fact that Meteor is coming to the planet. I mean, for a while there, we all thought, okay, yeah, Hojo was manipulating him. But then you kind of, through his actions and his confections, you realize, yeah, he could have fought it, but he didn't know what was going on. So you feel for him, but he's still partially responsible, and he wants to fix it. That's why I like Cloud, when he is a bit of a redemption story. So, and I should clarify something. I actually do like Cloud later in Advent Children, but for the most part, I don't. Why? Because he is the same sad sack of emo that he is at the beginning of 7. And I get it. People love that Cloud. I don't understand that from my personal perspective, but I get that you like that. I'm not there with you. I like the character development, the Cloud that owns his own actions, owns his mistakes, and is better for it. And again, like, he becomes that later on in Advent Children, but you still have to kind of troll through, you have to tread through all of the emo that people, I mean, I find it funny, in Advent Children, even Tifa and Eris and all the other party members get sick of it. Because they even make fun of him for it in Advent Children. Dilly dally shilly shally. That's why I make fun of it. So it's almost like, huh, everybody else is sick and tired of the emo. Why not just start him off where he was at the end of Final Fantasy VII? But no, we can't do that because he's the emo protagonist that we all have to like that way. Hence why, to me, and I know that this is going to irritate a few people, Cloud's a little overrated in that regard because of the fact that that's why people like him for those reasons. Okay, so now that we've gotten everything saved and we're good to go, let's head down into the underwater reactor. So while we're continuing to make our way, there is another thing that I kind of need to address. Just a quick reminder to everybody that, yes, this week, or this upcoming week, is actually going to be a podcast week. And there might actually be some changes coming in for August, because if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you'll know that my wife's been pregnant, and we're actually getting ready to have our second daughter. So, and the due date is August. But I'll go ahead and address those in different videos. What I also hope to be able to do is give you guys some other games that I've been playing. I have not been able to put myself towards too much aside from doing reviews, but I actually have an idea for that I think you guys will enjoy. Coming very soon to the channel. And now it's time for us to go deep into the underwater reactor at Junon and be all underwater and stuff. How do you know the elevator's moving? Because the background was forced to move. That's how it works, right? Now here's how you know that you're in an underwater reactor. You have the Mako reactor music. And look, Shinra subs. Especially a red sub with a crane moving towards it. Huh. But ignore the Japanese writing on there. No, this game totally wasn't made in Japan. What are you talking about? No, that's not how it works. But yeah, I hope that actually answers the issues that I have with Cloud. Is that it's not that I hate the character overall. I think he actually has some good character development, but yeah, there's some issues, which is fine. Most characters can have issues and they still work. You know, Tara Branford, for as much as I mocked her in Final Fantasy VI, she still works, just not necessarily as the protagonist. That's actually my complaint of Final Fantasy XII as well, is that the protagonist in that game doesn't make sense compared to other characters that are in the roster. There we go. So, as we get deeper into the Junon reactor, we're going to have another save point, which is probably worthwhile to use. We are going to get a few bosses in Junon. This one's supposed to be a little bit more difficult. You're Cloud! Good eye. So glad you noticed that I'm Cloud. Otherwise, I'd have to worry about you. But since you're a Shinra soldier, a Shinra flunky, and I used to be a Shinra flunky, or at least Cloud used to be, you're dead. Because I'm awesome. And I grind horribly. You're not getting this huge materia! I already got the other two. What's gonna stop me from getting this one? Honestly, Shinra soldiers, have you thought this through? I don't think you have. I one-shot you. I put no effort into killing you. Your bosses give me more trouble than you do. And that's not saying much. Especially at this point when we're sitting at like level 70, level 80. I'm a touch overpowered at this point. So you were after the huge materia. Good eye. Glad you caught on to that. I mean, I worked so hard to give you guys the impression over at Corel and Fort Condor that I was after your dang huge materia. Oh, wait, you're a different color. But you died just as squishy. Because that's how it goes, everybody. Just another domino, fallen like the rest. I like the fact that some of you guys have actually reached out and said, you want to make this game more of a challenge for yourself. I do. I do by grinding. I just don't like I like giving you guys the story experience, and it's better to do it that way than to actually grind it out. The huge materia. Yes, Cloud. Good eye. We're starting to see the inner Shinra flunky in you. I'm just pointing that out. So this is the reactor, and the crane that we saw earlier on actually was coming to this room to get the huge materia out of it. So now it's going to be a race against time to get that. They're going to take it on that submarine. Yes. If we take a shortcut, we might just make it. What shortcut? There's only one path, Red. All right, and that's going to go ahead and do it for this week. So when we get back a couple of weeks from now, we will continue on in the Junon underwater reactor.